All right, welcome to the May 8th Comprehensive Planning Team Committee. We have Dwight Youthy, Birch Craig, Jeremy Brain, and myself, Chair Caitlin McCumsky. Present today, nobody on Zoom so far. We have kind of a hefty agenda today, so we'll try and move quickly. Any corrections to the meeting minutes for the April 10th meeting? Nope.
No, I'm good with it.
Okay, we'll go ahead and mark those as approved. Youth engagement opportunities. I did speak with Supervisor Vastola today. He has been plugging away with the school. He's expecting to go give some presentations at the participation in government class in the next week or two. So he has not looked at the survey, but we did have a brief discussion about it, and that's in line with sort of what we thought was appropriate for a survey. Did you guys have a chance to look at those survey questions at all?
I looked at postcards, don't understand it.
We're not to the postcards yet.
Oh,
We're talking about the survey.
okay.
The existing.
Take your PowerPoint survey questions, is that what you're referring to?
No, there was a link on the agenda that
Right.
said review survey questions, do not submit, review only. It's only about
I did
5
not- I
questions.
did not look at that. no.
I don't see how you can get that. See review survey questions. Oh, yada, yada, yada.
I see the link as I'm looking at it on a piece of paper, but
No worries. If you guys want to take a look at that, please feel free. I would need any comments back by early next week, I think should be sufficient. If you don't have time and you trust me to have put it together, that's fine too.
We trust you, but
I'm
Go.
sorry, I'm missing, what are we looking? This is
review,
in,
review survey questions.
Did the number 2 on youth engagement on the agenda, did the link not work?
oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Sorry, I guess I should have put it in the body of the
No, the
email.
link does not, it didn't light up for me as a link.
Oh,
I'm-
you mean it wasn't clickable? Sorry. Yeah. If you copy and paste it, it works.
Okay,
It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 questions. It says, do you like living in this community? How likely are you to live in this community after you graduate or return when you're older? Those are both like scale questions. And then there's 4 short answer questions. Why do you feel that way? What are
and this is going to who?
the students?
At
This-
Honeoye.
Yep.
But not Will and Coact.
Correct. Yep. This will go to when Supervisor Vastola gives the presentation at the participation in government
Okay.
class. This will be part of that. What are the strengths of this community? What are the weaknesses? And if you were in charge, what would you change? So pretty short and sweet. There's a little intro that, why their opinion matters. So that is the update on youth engagement. I'm sure that Supervisor Vastola will update us with any further feedback. Any questions on that before we move on? Okay, Ontario County contract. So I had sent you all a bunch of maps. Birch and I had several questions for the county. They also said that they had found some things that they were fixing anyways. So I guess kind of disregard those maps. Did you guys have any major feedback you wanted to offer now?
fire district,
Yep, that was one of mine in the
Okay.
city of Rochester.
yeah,
Yep,
the fire district, they're redoing the lines.
yep,
I don't know if it's been approved yet, but it's in the works.
okay, yep, that was my one question, and then we both caught the city of Rochester thing, and then you had some other good
Yeah,
questions
it's
too.
another one, say at DEC Forest, when it should probably be the 488 forest.
Yep,
Some of those maps have too many little. And I doubt if anyone's gonna even look at them, but other, the
Yep.
fire district, I think they need to check with 911 to see if it's official, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, so they're,
Do you get notified on that too or not?
I only know because it was a topic of discussion at the board meeting, so.
And Hemlock's abandoning their fire department?
Most likely next year,
Right,
they don't
so who
meet,
takes over that?
they don't meet the minimum requirement of
Right.
membership. So Livonia will probably take them over. Just right now,
Will they still use the Hemlock to dispatch from, or they'll come from?
as
Livonia?
a substation potentially. Right now, Livonia's been going to a lot of their calls anyways as mutual aid, so.
Okay, so we'll circle back to the maps. Hopefully the next round we receive will be a little bit more finalized. The one thing I did want to chat with you guys about is which maps do we want to print for the public engagement meeting?
I would think only the ones that have changed. How many have changed?
Well, so this is for the public engagement meeting. So we don't want to print all of them that
No.
have changed. We probably only want to print like one or two.
Good.
So I didn't know if there was any, I think Birch, you had suggested the
The zoning for sure.
zoning. I think the current land use one is sort of interesting.
Some of them are just way too busy.
You mean the real property tax one or the land?
It was titled Canada's current land use.
Well, yeah, one's current land use.
Oh, but then it
Based
says,
on real
yeah,
property.
the real property tax classification codes,
Those are kind of the same
same as zoning.
8. Come on,
I don't even see the zoning one.
8 and 6.
Is that
Well, they had 6
tax
twice.
class? I don't even see the zoning one here.
The zoning one's the first one.
The current land use one?
No,
The
that-
real property tax classification codes? That's what
The zoning one is the one I've been working, getting,
I guess I somehow missed adding that one
Yeah,
to my
it's-
folder.
but that's the one we're trying to get, I'm trying to get Joe to sign off on it, and actually I forgot to call him today, but I called Tuesday and
Okay,
to
Doesn't work
remind,
on Tuesdays.
right, but I asked Rich to put a note on his computer to look at his email, because Rich said he doesn't check his email regularly,
so yeah, sorry, I apologize. I guess I didn't put the zoning one in my folder. So we are thinking zoning.
I think real property tax, there's 2 that are very similar, if not the same. Current land use,
And that's the real, it's labeled,
probably current land use would be better than real property tax classification.
but when I open current land use, it's labeled real property tax classification.
Based on real property.
Okay. Oh, based on, sorry,
So
it's been a long week.
it's kind of
Yeah,
It's a duplicate.
You're saying
One
that's
or
a
the other.
duplicate of
They're
the
similar.
zoning?
One or the other.
but they need to make some corrections.
Yeah, it's not ready to print right now, but do we like,
But that would be a good one, because it kind of gives you,
are you saying this one and zoning or this
Yeah.
one instead of zoning?
I would do both. But a fairly good size, I mean, because
Yeah.
it's a visual,
Yep.
and
Okay,
I don't think any of the others we need to print.
I sort of like the drainage pattern ones. I think that one's really interesting. But I don't know. It might just be interesting to me.
That
Yeah,
could
that
go
could-
along with your PowerPoint, I noticed a lot of the answers to those questions was concerns about flooding and drainage.
Mm-hmm.
So which one?
I find them more, I mean, if you want, have you ever seen the drainage ones where it gives you the more of an overview and you see the watersheds? You ever seen those?
Yeah, this one has a little bit of that.
Yeah, but it's,
The
you don't get a
primary.
sense because it's only the town.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you really want to look at drainage,
Okay, I'll make a
Yeah.
note of that.
The county has that available on. I don't know, I can't remember if it's. Based on Encore or if it's a separate one of their GeoGrid maps,
yeah,
Yeah,
but it shows. All of the different watersheds for each
right,
stream,
DEC has
You
it,
know,
I think.
how many acres. Is in that stream's watershed.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it is interesting because just up the road from us at the corner, it becomes the Susquehanna watershed.
Oh, wow.
Matter of fact, our neighbor, you know, the schoolhouse up the street from us, they're part of the Genesee watershed, and the other side of their property is the Susquehanna. So the beginning of the Coacton is actually on their
Yeah.
property.
That's cool. I'm sorry, where's
The
that?
Beaver Dam is.
It's Tabor's Corners and Wetmore,
Okay,
the schoolhouse. There's an old schoolhouse.
okay,
that they've added on to.
neat. Okay, so I'll chat with the county and see, maybe a watershed map is interesting. So I think those three maps are probably good, right? Zoning, current land use, and potentially some sort of drainage map. And I think that's a good point. I thought the drainage map was interesting, but we did get a lot of feedback in the survey that that was a concern to people, so they may be interested to see that. I don't want to print this map, but I just wanted to mention it. The soil limitations map for conventional septic systems within the town of Canadice. It's the whole town is severe. I mean, I know we've talked about that, like when we just were looking at the code, updating the code.
Have you
And
got
that's
to
why we-
replace your septic yet?
No,
Well,
it was done right before we bought the
Oh.
house.
Clay and shale.
But I know that that's like why we had a really restrictive code about septic. But then I looked at this map and I was like, am I reading this right? Like literally the whole town is severe. There's a couple areas that are moderate. I do not see one area that has just a slight soil limitation.
No.
So I just thought that was super interesting. I don't know if we need to print it, but I found it very interesting. Okay. And then I wanted to just take a quick peek at Kyle's direction for what we needed to do about adopting. We should have pulled this up earlier.
for adopting what, the maps?
The zoning map.
We need to have the code enforcement officer has to print it out, sign it, scan it, and send it back to Kyle.
Okay, and then, so we decided we didn't need Eileen to do anything because we didn't make any.
Then when that's done, Kyle, it was in,
It's in an email, I just can't.
yeah, an email that, didn't I copy you on the one I sent?
Probably, I have so many here. Um, yeah, I guess I'll put that on my to-do list, is to pull up that email. I can't find it right now, but.
I got
Um,
it. When ready, the town's designated project lead, code officer, it looks like, needs to sign this draft and send it back to me. Can be a simple PDF scan. Then I can print it out Then I can print out the official zoning map for the town clerk to sign and keep on file. So code enforcement officer needs to sign off, signature on it. Goes to Kyle, he prints it off and gives it to Eileen, who signs it and keeps it on file.
Okay.
That's what he's,
And is that the one where it says like if there were no changes, that's the process, but if there were changes, then there's a different process? Is that email? I just want to make
no,
sure
this
that's the most up
this
to
is-
date one.
and I sent you. Yeah.
Because I think I asked for clarification on that because we were confused. Is
Right,
that his response to me saying, can you explain this further?
April 28th is his response to me or to you or whatever. And then I sent it on to Joe on May 6th, asking for him to print it out, sign it, and send it back to Kyle.
Couple days ago. May
Correct. That's why I called. So I would have hoped that Joe has done that, but
6th. Oh,
Rich is on vacation, so he wasn't here to remind him.
he
Check
was,
his
he was
email.
gonna put a note on his computer.
Okay, yeah.
that
Yep.
seems like. the
Did you get it?
Yep, I found it. The step 1, 2, 3. Yep, perfect. Okay,
So we're
So-
waiting.
okay. So you have that well in hand. You understand we're just waiting for the code enforcement officer to sign it. And then you know what to do next.
I would take away the well and just say I have it in hand.
All right,
You just
you've
take
got your
that.
hands on it. So we are good with maps. We're just waiting for those hopefully final changes. Once we get those, I'm gonna have the county print a couple of the bigger maps for those 3 that we discussed for the meeting. Okay, any other questions about mapping or the county contract before we move on to agenda item number 4? Okay, now we can chat about the postcard.
Okay,
I did make one edit since you have seen it. Kate Crowley said that it would be helpful if we said where the meetings were going to be held on the postcard, which I thought was very good feedback. So I did
Didn't
put
read those.
Canada's Town Hall and the address on the back portion of the postcard
In large type.
in very large type, yes. She did also catch it said zoning board or appeals, and so I did get that corrected to zoning board of appeals.
So the front is. Where's the label go or how do they work?
So remember we talked about instead of doing a picture on the front, so the front is the part with the 3 colored boxes.
I don't have 3 colored boxes.
colored boxes.
That's the back.
That's the back.
Yeah, I don't know why it's looking so weird on yours. Oh, that's really odd. That is not what it looks like on mine.
Yeah, I got colored boxes. I looked
You
at
got
it.
colored
I looked
boxes?
Just like yours.
Okay, that's what,
This
that's
is,
the front.
this is the front. I assume the
And
language
then
is the
what's the
same.
back?
And then the back looks like very similar to our other one.
Oh, okay, because mine,
Yeah,
the
yours,
format is all screwed up.
that is very odd. Yeah. So, and I just added this meetings will be held
Yeah, no,
at.
that's fine. I just was wondering how you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure why it went through like that. I would assume the language is the same, even though your boxes aren't colored. No wonder Dwight was so confused by
I
that.
am confused. So what's the language?
So that's the one without the colored boxes. Do you have one that at the top it says Town of Canadice upcoming meetings?
Is that what you have?
I'll just read it. Do you want me to read it out loud?
Well,
Or is it too much?
I'm assuming Kate looked at it, you looked at it, and what could go wrong?
So there's a box at the top. It talks about what a comprehensive plan is.
Yep.
And then there's two boxes at the bottom. The one on the left talks about the public engagement meeting.
Got it.
When it, and the date and time. Just talks about what the public engagement meeting will be.
Mhm.
I thought that we would give the presentation about 6:45.
I see that here.
We're gonna do it 6 to 8, so I thought that would be sort of towards the beginning, but would give people plenty of time to come in and look around for a few minutes before we gave the short presentation. And then the other side talks about the public hearing. That'll be the first of two as part of the town board.
And you
Meeting.
don't have a second one scheduled, or?
No, I want to get feedback from the town board. I'm assuming they're gonna say, or I'm hoping they're gonna say, this looks great. And there's not gonna be a ton of changes, but if for some reason when we present them the draft, if there's a lot of feedback or things that we need to go back and fix, it may take longer to go to the second. I'm hoping within a month or two.
Are they gonna have opportunity to read this well before? I mean,
Yep, that's why we put it for August instead of July.
Mhm.
Is because we want to do the public engagement meeting, take any information from that, get it in our red line version, which is also on my list of things that I owe you. So
so maybe at the July town board meeting,
we can provide.
one of us should be there and say, okay, you've got it. Please read it now,
Yep,
because the worst thing is when someone starts reading it on August
on
11th
August 12th at 6:55
or August 11th. And
or August 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah, better August 11th.
and
than
that has
August
all
12th.
these things,
August
gee,
12th.
why did you do it?
Five is more like it.
Yeah. The meeting's on August 11th, so I guess August 12th.
Because by the time we get to August 11th,
Yep. Well, and that's really, for me, the intention of the first public hearing. It's certainly open to the public and we will welcome feedback from them. But to me, it is really the town board's opportunity to offer any feedback on the draft, because the next time it comes to them, it is going to be a final version for adoption. At that point, it'll really be too late for any feedback. But I agree with what you're saying, that we want to make sure that we communicate with them early to make sure that they have plenty of time to
is
review the
this
draft.
the final postcard we're sending?
It is
So there won't be any for the,
for the second public hearing.
are you gonna also send this out to our mailing list, email list,
Yes.
with maybe the week before June 12th, an email blast to remind people?
Yeah, that's a good idea to send it closer. They'll get we had discussed sending the postcard the week of May 22nd, which is the week before Memorial Day. I chatted with Quick Prints. They said as long as we get it to them a week ahead of time,
Right.
good to go. I've already got the updated mailing list from Holly. So once we approve this tonight, I can send the postcard and the mailing list to Quick Prints. So we should be good to go out that.
And then an email a week before the June 12th,
I like that. Yeah.
and also a week before the August 11th.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we know the final meeting, an email, because we have quite a few names on that, right?
We do. Yeah, I think we've got just over 100, not quite 150, maybe 125-ish.
We're gonna have anything on the town website where people can sign up? Additional people or not?
To sign up to get the emails. Yeah, that's a really good point. We
For
don't,
email?
but we should definitely. I'll work with
then-
Mark Melmandier on that.
Yeah, the other question is who controls the email list?
Currently I do. I'm hoping
Because
to,
that's actually public. I mean, someone could foil that.
yep. I'm hoping to get that handed off to somebody that actually works for the town. So it's through the MailChimp program. Well, my intention is that, there's somebody who's very familiar with the program, but I've already set it up, so there's a template in there so that whoever the town supervisor and the town board decides have access to it, like Jeremy could log in and there's already a template, so you just open it. You put a subject, you fill in the body and send, and then it just automatically goes to the whole list. So it should be very easy to
Yeah, people
use.
can unsubscribe.
Yep, people can unsubscribe at any time. There's, I'm pretty sure it says right at the bottom.
Right.
There's a like a unsubscribe link.
But it would be nice to have some mechanism where people can add their names to the list.
Yep. Yep, definitely. That's a really good point. And I'll work with Mark Malmadeer to get that on the website. Okay, so we're good with the postcard,
Perfect.
Perfect.
but I love to hear. Man, guys, I thought we were gonna be here half the night. We are cruising through this agenda. I shouldn't jinx it. Knock on wood. Okay, the survey presentation. So I put together some slides. Another edit from Kate was I did have a duplicate slide in there that I had missed. Slide 6 and 7.
6 and 7, yeah.
Yes, yep. So I did get the duplicate slide. They were similar, but not exactly the same, but I did get that removed. Besides that, any other feedback or edits?
It was a lot easier to read that than trying to the spreadsheet version of it.
Yes. And it wasn't every question on the survey. I thought these were sort of like, I didn't include all the highway ones on here, Jeremy, because those are useful to you, but
Right.
not everybody needs to, like, some of them I thought were a little bit more internal facing. And these were like kind of common themes and ones that sort of gave kind of a broad overview of the survey results. Like you said, that spreadsheet is just like so much information, it's not really digestible. So if there was something that anybody thought or thinks of at a later date, they're like, oh, that was on the survey, like I didn't see that in the presentation, let me know, we can certainly add it. But this was sort of my thoughts on which parts of it were really important to share.
So this presentation you're gonna give,
So that's a good question. Definitely my thoughts are this should be given to the town board as part of our public hearing on the August 11th. I think that we can have this playing on a slideshow on the television during the points in time when I'm not giving the presentation. And then is this something we think we want to include in the short presentation at the public engagement meeting? Or do we want to take a few of these slides and pare it down a little bit?
We're talking about these slides.
no, I think it'd be
Yeah.
good,
I
that's
think it's
kind of
good.
small. Is there any way we can get a screen and projector? For the night?
I think it's really good.
I don't know. I don't have access to one or no. I mean, if we could get a projector, we could use the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
you really need a screen, but.
yeah, you could use it all right there. Perfect. Perfect.
And I guess that kind of leads well. So before I jump around too much, so we want to include this whole presentation as part of the presentation on the night of the public engagement meeting, or do we think maybe should I go through and like maybe we don't need some of the demographic, like I think the town board is going to be interested in the demographics of who responded to the survey, but not necessarily the residents who come.
Oh, I think it would be,
You think it's this?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically I'll just add on to this presentation.
yeah,
And I had taken a stab at the additional, and sorry, I know I'm jumping around. I'd taken a stab at the additional things to include in that full presentation for the public engagement meeting. So defining what a comp plan is, sort of the history of how comprehensive planning has been developed in Canadice, any highlights from the current plan, the survey results, and then what our next steps are.
So how many slides would you think that'd be
1,
total?
2, 3. I think like 4 or 5 plus what we've got 11 slides here. So 4 or 5 plus 11, I don't know, 15-ish, 15, 16 slides, usually a minute or less per slide. So that's like a 15-minute-ish
Ish.
presentation.
Got the ish.
I can sometimes be a bit long-winded, but
You're gonna start the meeting.
We'll be in the back.
At 6.
that I gave a presentation last weekend and literally somebody came up and they were like, oh, okay, well, we could ask Caitlin questions all night. And they like gave me like the hook, pulled me off.
Depends on how invested you are in the topic and how much you want to geek out on it, right?
Well, and
Yeah.
how invested the audience is
Yeah.
too. Like I had a really engaged audience, so we were having a lot of great
So I'm
dialogue.
gonna take these 15 slides at 6:45,
Yes.
starts,
Yep. So
Yep.
presentation 6:45 to 7-ish.
Yeah. that's good,
Okay.
good,
Okay.
yeah.
So, let's chat about, I think this is our next agenda item. Review full presentation. We can't do that, because it's not done. And, okay, so we chatted about the maps to print. So let's talk about the layout of the room, what sort of supplies we need. So there's one easel there. I have one easel at work I can bring.
That's
We-
good.
I was
Another-
thinking,
There's another one in the other conference room.
Okay, so that's,
We had 2 last night, so.
so that's 3.
Smaller than
So
that.
that would be able to display all 3 maps. There are also the those boards with all the history stuff on them. I don't know if we want to bring those in here for people to look at as well, if we want to take some stuff off and borrow them for the night.
are we gonna have some large survey results?
Like slides from the presentation, we chatted about that, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I printed it maybe on foam core or something like that, or,
Yeah,
cause I was thinking, we just, you could take some fishing line
yeah,
and, hook. You know, paper clip here and have them hanging. Cables we're gonna have to kind of.
oh, hang them from the drop ceiling.
Ceiling grid.
Right.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
And you can cover. Oh, walls, these
Yeah.
big tables we're gonna wanna break down.
Yeah, we'll get these out of here.
And get rid of,
Just keep,
can't break this one down, but
just keep this thing.
But we could push it against one of the walls.
yeah.
Okay, let me just write fishing line on my to order map.
I'll get the fishing
You
How
got
many
the
maps
fishing
are we
line?
Doing, I thought 3, right?
3 maps.
maps, but I think it wouldn't be bad to have. I mean, have some of these survey results.
And honestly, like some of the slides, we could probably put like 2 slides on one form.
Yeah, depending on, I mean, can the county print this up or we could have quick print do it? I mean, you
Mhm.
wanna get some pricing?
Yeah,
And I think. And then,
the county's gonna do the big maps for us. But I'll probably just have Quick Print do the other printing for us, since I gotta send the postcard to them anyways.
and I don't know if they're stiff enough where if we hang them or they need a foam core backing up.
Yeah, let me find out.
But a good size, you know, say. At least the size of that picture.
It's good. What's that about? 15 by 20.
The size of that picture?
30
Yeah.
by 24.
I think 33 by
They're really
24
good,
did.
27.5 by 22.5.
Oh.
Usually I think I know what size they can print on and it's that size, but it's not much bigger. Cause we asked them to print something for work the other day and we were surprised that they're the largest they could go.
Like a blueprint format.
The
I think
place
that they
in
couldn't
Lima
even do
could do
2x3.
the printing place in Lima could do it. Is
Happy Town.
that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's an interesting place when you go into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna
Ask
print
Fletcher about that.
survey slides.
We
Um,
use them for the Highway Association. They're the ones that print up our resource book.
oh,
Where's that in line? Four Corners?
survey
Not funny.
It's right next to the Lima Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, right between
I
the
think it's
hotel
just
and
those
and the diner.
One woman that runs it or something?
Husband and wife.
Okay, I
And
just,
yeah, there's a lot of like back and forth.
and you go in the back.
Back and come back out and talk to you and then goes into the back and then.
Well, I was in the back actually, and they have stuff all over the place. But the
Yeah.
price is right.
Important.
It was a large format blueprint.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're gonna print some of the survey slides. We're gonna print the maps. Anything else we want to have printed and on display for the evening?
Our chairperson's pictures.
Oh, me? Oh, no, I'll be here chatting away. We might need a cutout of Jeremy though, since he
Yeah.
can't make it.
Cardboard cutout
Yeah.
like they have in the movie theaters.
Yeah, I think
Life size.
we're gonna need one of those for sure.
Overdue.
Okay, so the other things I have on my list is we'll have a draft red line version of the updated plan, which I'm gonna hopefully get to you guys within a week, as well as the final survey or
So
the,
the updated plan,
presentation.
what are we doing on the intro? I mean, are we gonna,
I think you owe me a couple of items.
right, I didn't know what, you want me to write them up on the geology and the history?
Yep.
I found it interesting, we actually were Richmond
Oh,
and got split off from Richmond
Mhm.
just before we became official.
interesting.
A long time ago.
Right.
Yeah, so if you can get those to me, that would be super helpful. I've got the highway. I've got updated water from Mark Malmandier. I've got something about the lakes from Terry Gronwell. So I've got a lot of the pieces. I've got all the demographics from the county. I just have to get them all into one file and formatted the way that I want. So I've got a lot of the pieces and then I just will have to go through my notes and make sure that some of the stuff we said we were gonna circle back to later, once we got our survey results. So I'll just take a quick look at those and see what needs to be updated there. So I definitely think we should have some copies of the existing plan. I have a copy of the binder of the original plan too, so I think it would be kind of neat to maybe whatever table is pushed against the wall, we can have some of the plans out there if people want to look at them. We'll have all the print stuff that we just talked about. I do, like we discussed with Thomas Lyon, I want to have some sort of board where we put something like what brought you in tonight or why did you decide to participate in this meeting, and people can put Post-its on it. I do want there to be like some sort of interactive information gathering thing. So I think that is an interesting idea. What do we think about on one of the maps having like stickers and people can put where they live in the town? So we have sort of a sense of who came to the meeting.
Are they gonna sign in or anything like that? Name, where they live? Or just,
There you
That's
go.
an idea. We'll just have them sign in.
that would be it.
Want to get on the email list? Put
Yeah.
your Email.
Yeah. Sign in. To email.
Or if somebody asks a question, we'll just say. Where's your residence in the town? Be it.
Yeah, I think maybe. I think we should have people sign in when they come in, just with their name and what, like, even if they don't want to put their full address, like what road they live on.
Yeah.
Because people get tired of like writing too much.
And it's not required, it'd be an option.
Yeah. It would be an option. So name, what road you live on, and then I think we'll have a separate, maybe on the table with the plans where people can sign up for the email list, just so that somebody doesn't have to sit there and fill out this like whole
Right,
huge
the
long
whole-
thing, because
right.
people don't like that.
Yep.
And then their writing gets messy and you can't read it anyways. So that's a great idea. Okay, so a sign in. Good. Sheet. Okay. Okay. Let's take a peek at the agenda. So we talked about what to print, how many boards, how to display. We made our supply list. And we discussed the red line version. We can't review it because I didn't give it to you. So that's everything on our agenda.
So you have like post-it notes, that sort of thing for your.
I'm going
You're
to get a
that
supply
board.
list together and give it to Krista to order from WB Mason.
Okay.
So,
She said yesterday that she just opened a governmental Amazon account as well, so
okay,
that might actually be a little bit cheaper than
okay.
WB Mason.
I'll send her over like what we need and let her decide where it's easier to order from. We have a budget for these materials, so we should be all good there. Okay, so this is our final meeting as scheduled before the public engagement meeting. Do you guys feel comfortable reviewing the red line version and the presentation via email prior to then, or would you like to schedule an extra meeting?
I wouldn't have a problem with the meeting,
Like a setup meeting,
yeah,
the setup
week or so
before.
before and just.
Okay.
play. I mean, we can go through the red line. Yeah,
Like, maybe the 11th then, something like that, the day before.
Well, maybe a little, maybe.
Yeah, I like the idea of at least a week ahead of time.
So we're not gonna interfere with the town board.
I'll take a peek at the calendar, and there's a calendar out there. We can double check. So that would be June 5th. That'd be Thursday, June 5th. I think that seems like a good idea, just to make sure.
Yeah.
Do we want to do the 5th, or should we do 2 weeks? 1 week doesn't give us a lot of time if we decide we didn't order something or we didn't print something. It doesn't give us a lot of time if our ducks are not in a row. May 29th is,
June 11th is when we're doing the.
the 12th is the public
12th,
engagement
right.
meeting.
Say 12.
Yep. So I would propose we meet 2 weeks ahead of that, which is 1, 2, 3 weeks from now on May 29th.
May 29th.
Now that is the week, Memorial Day is the Monday before that.
Today's the 28th.
I'm okay with the 29th.
Memorial Day is the 26th.
Okay, so you're saying the 29th is
Yes.
Thursday, another
Yep.
Thursday.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, right now, we could say yes. God knows.
So let's say tentatively we're going to need to meet on the 29th. if you guys think I did an awesome job and have little feedback on what I send out. With the red line version in the presentation, we can say yay or nay, but let's tentatively say we're gonna meet the 29th.
Okay.
Just to make sure we are good to go. And we are like, we're in the home stretch here, guys.
Yeah.
We really are. We're gonna get through these meetings, not get through them. We're going to fly through them with flying colors.
Yep.
And then really it's just getting it adopted. So we've done all the hard work and this is kind of one last big push and then we get to show off all our work.
So the town board has to adopt this?
Yep.
The final version.
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Anything else before we end the meeting? Okay. Well, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
So have you heard of the newest TikTok challenge for
For who?
students?
No.